the cold and the snowy side of the system as well, Maria.
And it's happening right now in Jackson, a place that you love to visit. And you were talking about the arches there. I see 1, 2, 3. Yep. And 4 right
there in the square. By the way, the whole logo for Jackson Hole, the cowboy, the Bucky Bronco, the bar is like right here on this side of the screen. Right there.
Well, you know, the snowfall is not stopping everyone from getting out and about because it's been busy traffic here at the square. So more snow to come. This is definitely that other side where it's just cold enough that we're seeing the snow. And you can see that outside of Denver as well. So today, some of that may be heavy at times. You're going to be picking up quite a bit of it. But the snow is all the way from Arizona on up into North Dakota, Rapid City, picking up some snow, as well as places like Denver and Jackson Hole. By tomorrow, with our low kind of riding up this warm front here, it's just going to be too warm to see any snow here from Milwaukee and Madison, even Minneapolis. North of there, maybe a little bit of a mix. But at that point, by Monday, yeah, the colder air is going to be moving in, but just not in time to mix that with snow. So all said and done, maybe 8 to 12 inches in some of those areas like Goodland in through western Kansas, parts of central Nebraska, several inches as well. So the winter alerts are up. There are advisories, watches, and warnings. Not to mention it'll be pretty gusty in a lot of these places too as we get through the day tomorrow, 20+ mile-per-hour winds. So Denver, you're looking at picking up some snow today. Haven't picked up snow since November 20th, a little bit behind average as far as totals for the season. So since September 1st, you've had 11.3 inches average snow, since then 16 inches. Places like North Platte, here's sort of the time frame for you today into tomorrow morning. You're going to see several hours of snowfall, and look again, those temperatures marginally cold, upper 20s into lower 30s, and you're going to see those winds pick up tomorrow. Our storm system is strengthening, and that's going to ramp up those winds. If we do name a storm, whether it's this one or the one coming into the Pacific Northwest, next on the list is echo ideas, but I bet inspiration here with what's happening in the lower 48 is wacky right now.
And even though we had 2 back-to-back really cold winters in the Northeast.
One little spot on the globe.
Yeah, that was just here in the Northeast. The West was above average, and I was seeing a wholesale change in season patterns where, you know, you can't even buy a snowflake across the east or the 2/3 of the nation. Well, you still have some snow dumping out towards the west, and that's where the parade of storms continue.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, but also want to touch on the severe threat and really
and again, storms, the big concern for storms in Houston, not so much this afternoon, but really as we head overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. This time on tomorrow morning is your danger zone, and hours before that in the Houston area.
But look at this. The green all the way up to Canada. Warm rain, 60 degrees in Chicago for tomorrow. Finding the snow, yeah, you have to stay in the west.
Yeah, out in the East Coast, we're talking 60s and 70s, even 50 in Boston's above average, so not feeling like the season at all, but you have no excuse not to have the yard work done, the leaves raked up, and the lights hung on the house because the weather is gorgeous in terms of spending time outdoors.
Yeah, lovely right now in
tomorrow, because you also have a chance of storms as we head on towards your Sunday. But by Monday, that wet weather pushes onto the East Coast. And like I said, temperatures way too warm for snow. 51 in Boston, 62 in New York, except parts of Maine. Maybe it's cold enough for a mix, but even a lot of that will be falling at rain until you head to the higher elevations.
Yeah, and you get an idea of the pattern, right? It's warm and wet. Here it's colder and snowy. Billings at 32, more snow for the Rockies. And as we mentioned, some wet weather in Atlanta.
Because of the clouds acting like a blanket to keep that warm air closer to the ground and a better chance of not having the fog develop as we head on towards tomorrow morning.
All right, as we head towards Tuesday and into Wednesday, it's the snow. Once again, we find ourselves in the Central Plains, Northern Plains, and Minneapolis on the brink of the actual cold air, right? So 36 is still above average. They're getting there, though.
But we're also seeing a wholesale pattern change in our pattern. Once we start towards the latter part of this week, we'll start seeing the storms come through and finally start cooling us down to more closer to average temperatures this time of the year, Thursday and Friday. And what? We could see our first major lake effect event here.
Yeah.
Perhaps our first measurable inch of snow in Buffalo since what, sometime last year?
Yeah, crazy. And maybe a week out of Christmas, a white Christmas there?
Maybe.
All right, stats for a city like Denver. Snow September 1st, 11.3 inches, falling a little bit behind average, which is on the order of about 16 inches. And the last time you had the snowfall was November 20th. So it's been some time. Looking at snow coming down right now and then out of here for Sunday. So if you're doing some traveling, you got to keep that in mind. Maybe it's for the ski resorts, looking great with a little bit of added powder here. But when you look at the big picture, you can see where that dip in the jet stream is, supplying that colder air. And it's relative because even it's marginally cold. It's cold enough for the rain, but I should say the snow, but even a little bit of rain. Regardless, today it's through Denver, in through the Dakotas. By tomorrow, the system's pushed into bringing rain and storms, by the way, into the Midwest and the Great Lakes, where it's just too warm for anything but rain. And even on into Monday, you see the pink, maybe some mix there with moderately cool temperatures. As far as snowfall totals go, look on the purple side, you've got 8 to 12 possible western Kansas and portions of central Nebraska. Warmth, as it is across the eastern half of the country, well above average. Everywhere you see a dot, including in and around Cleveland, looking at the potential for record highs to fall. Records possible in 22 states. We've already seen a few record highs fall, including, Paul, we've got Paducah, Cincinnati have already seen their record highs for the day broken. Yeah,
we're talking 10, 11 in the morning, and we're still setting new records. Let's talk about this warmth because it's going to continue all across the eastern two-thirds of the nation. Places
Atlanta, so you're telling me
you got a chance.
Not really.
Believe it or not, the chances are looking better across parts of the northern tier states. I know it's still warm right now. It won't get snow this week, but there's a pattern change coming, which could bring some cooler air. Western New York, Buffalo could see a white Christmas. It's looking better. Not great, but better.
And finally snapping that streak, which is incredible how late in the season that first flake is potential. All right, we've got a fly-in in Denver. We've been checking in on Jackson Hole and Jackson and Wyoming. It looks snowy and wintry, maybe picking up quite a bit of snow there too.
Yeah, also snow across Interstate 40, just rain I-10, but heads up because the storm system comes out of the west and then really starts to wind up across parts of the high plains here. Eastern Colorado, areas of western Kansas will get dumped on in terms of snow. So we're going to track this as we head throughout tonight into tomorrow morning. Still snowing heavily across parts of Kansas. Again, this is through noon tomorrow, and it continues to push on to the plains as we head later into Sunday.
And you see all of the green, a lot of heavy rain, maybe 2 or 3 inches easily in some spots. But then finally, Minneapolis, I say finally because it's been so warm, getting a cool down and maybe a spot of snow.
Yeah, but the heavy snow in western Kansas, maybe a foot or more as we head on.